Welcome back, everyone. I got a great way to start this interview, by the way. Some of us would like to be Pope. Some of us would like to be president. A few of you out there maybe want to be an emperor. How would you like to be Waterkeeper for the most beautiful lake in our country, the Queen of American Lakes, Lake George? Well, that's what Chris Navitsky is. He's the Waterkeeper, Fund of Lake George, and responsible for really trying to keep that lake in the kind of pristine condition that all of us enjoy year-round, every single day, every single year. So welcome, Chris.
Thank you so much.
Nice to have you here.
Glad to be here.
Man alive. I know that you're a professional engineer, so I know that you're a scientist and whatever, but having the title of Waterkeeper, and you've had it for like 15 years, you were telling me. Boy, what's involved with that title, and why do you love that job?
Well, first of all, to be responsible for Lake George, to educate everyone on Lake George, is just, you know, it's a dream job, and to be honored with that, I'm very fortunate. So really, we like to speak for the water. The water can't speak for itself, but we study the water, we see the signs, and then we like to bring that to the public and to our policymakers and really educate them so that we can protect this for our next generation.
Oh, you know, that I'd almost go back on every single word you said there and spend a half hour talking about it.
Well, let's do it.
Yeah. Preserving the lake, and anybody that enjoys the lake, anybody that's seen the lake, anybody that spends any time on the lake, just recognizes what a precious asset this lake is and how it needs to be preserved.
And that's what the benefit of nature brings to all of us, is the quality of life. And as we seem to get more connected as a society, I think places like Lake George deconnect us and take us away from that and refresh us and really balances our life. So that's why we need to preserve and protect these areas. And I'm so fortunate to be able to be the one to lead people to realize the importance of it.
Now, and I'll just add one more thing, and then I want to talk about some of the specifics that Chris is involved with. But, you know, my wife and I own a home up in Hague, right on the lake, and we don't have any internet. We have no telephone. We have no television. We don't have anything. Just what you said rings so true, is that it's a deconnecting. You're deconnecting in a way, but it's amazing how you're able to connect by being there.
And it just invigorates you. You know, every time you jump in the lake, you get cooled, but you also get refreshed. And it's not just physically, but it's emotionally. And that's why we need to preserve these areas.
Now, all the work that you're doing, I do know that there's one issue, which is why we invited you to come on. Recently, you did a summit concerning salt and salt use in the wintertime, how that is affecting the health of the lake, as well as some solutions. So let's start with the problem itself. You've been monitoring the lake for a period of time, and what are you seeing in terms of salt?
Well, what we've seen, my organization has partnered with Darren Freshwater Institute, has studied the lake for 37 years, dating back to 1980. And what we've seen is that the chloride levels have more than tripled in the lake, and that is problematic for a number of reasons. It impacts our ecology, alters the food web at the basic level, where you have the phytoplankton and the zooplankton, which are the basis of the food web. It changes our soils, which the biological activities, the treatment of our stormwater, and also our vegetation. Everybody's probably seen the burnt trees along the Northway or county routes around. So that is a great impact, but also Lake George is a drinking water supply. And as salt levels increase, thousands of people use the lake for drinking water, but if that increases to a particular level, people with hypertension, restricted diets, salt-restricted diets will not be able to drink the water. So that is the main reasons that we really want to protect the lake.
I've got it. Now, you know, if you think about it, salt is used to preserve meat, so it kills certain bacteria.
Bacteria, absolutely.
And that, what Chris is talking about, if that bacteria is killed in the lake, then you're messing with the eco-balance.
Yes.
And that's a problem.
And the soils really become less fertile, less productive, and the important aspects that happen in the soil become reduced, and really you're killing the basic parts of our ecosystem that provides such services as decomposition and everything like that. So it impacts our balance.
Now, two ways to look at this, and I think when Chris and I were talking about this, it's so important to recognize that it isn't like Big Brother coming down on municipalities and saying, oh, you can't do it or you should do it this way. It really is education and partnership that makes effective salt use in the wintertime benefit your agenda as well as making sure that people are safe on the roads.
I mean, we need to be safe. Living in the North Country, we need to travel, we need to get places. So the primary thing is road safety. And what we found is that we can maintain that safety on the roads, but do it in a manner that we reduce the actual salt that we're applying because we're seeing the impact. So we've developed a model where we work with partnership, innovation, and investment. And the first part of that partnership is the most important. We work with our municipalities, developed an agreement, an understanding to address these issues, that there is a concern, and that we will sit at the table together, work towards the issues, and we will help bring the expertise in. We don't have the answers, but we know people that do, and we've brought those experts in, and that's where we've started investing, bringing in better equipment, and a lot of this has been learned at the annual summits that we've held, where we'll have presentations on science. We'll actually have demonstrations of the products, and then as the highway operators understand that, and the plow drivers, they develop an understanding and a comfort level with us, and that really brings us all on the same level, and that's when we can achieve solution.
Oh, very well said, Chris. And the proof is that they are already reducing by somewhat 30% or something.
30%.
You were saying. Now, if you did some calculations, I asked Chris, I said, well, at that rate, how soon would it be before the lake is then restored to a level where salt is not an issue? And it could be as quickly as 25 years. That's pretty remarkable. The lake, as you know, is incredibly resilient. But, it just can't take this constant impact. That's why issues like development and issues like salt and all of these other things. But, to your point, if you're driving a truck, and you're responsible for putting salt down, if you partner with an organization like the fund, then it's to everyone's benefit. The roads will be safe, but the lake is protected. And just a shout out there, you're watching this interview and you're thinking, what can I do? Well, get involved with the issues, right, Chris? Understand it. If you own a home on Lake George, if you're involved in any way at all, that you should find out about this.
Yeah, we feel that it's probably about 50% of the salt use and impacts to the lake come from private properties. A lot of people point to the municipalities and the state about what they're adding, but it's really the parking lots, the private roads that people own, and their own driveways. So understand what you're applying, learn that there's ways that you can do that in a better, more responsible, more sustainable way. Sustainability is a big term right now.
Sure it is.
So we really want to promote that in such terms that there's sustainable winter maintenance. And we actually had a presentation on that, a certification system, so that people can learn more, educate themselves, educate their contractors, and through that is another collaboration that we can use to reduce the impacts to salt. There's such things as salt-tolerant plants that people can use around their yards, that areas always drain to these, but these plants will be better and will uptake those impacts
prevent
better.
the runoffs and whatever.
So,
what's the website, Chris?
the website is fundforlakegeorge.org.
Okay, fundforlakegeorge.org. As a homeowner on the lake, I can't wait to go to the site and figure out what we can do. And I encourage all of you to do that and learn about it. Again, it's one of those things, you tend to hear people say, oh, it wouldn't be that much, it's only me. Well, multiply that by thousands and all of a sudden it isn't just me and our lake is being threatened.
The cumulative impacts are tremendous, and if we can get to one property at a time and people do things better, we can make a change, and that's what our work is showing.
Well, you have the dream job, but you also have the dream mission. Okay? Waterkeeper.
Gotta love it.
Nice to talk to you.
Thank you so much.
Very nice to have you here. To see this interview again, you can head to our website, looktvonline.com.